Good evening, Bears. Welcome to Rangers Radio's Thursday night show. We're joined tonight by myself, GB, the legend that is Bridgeman, and our very own JFK. How you all doing, lads?
All right, Gary. Hi, Bridgeman.
Can I just say a big good evening to you two guys? Huge good evening to the guys in the lobby and to all the Rangers fans listening in all over the world. Good evening. Welcome to Rangers Radio.
How we all doing? I've not heard from you in a while, JFK.
I've just been keeping quiet, mate. That's a big thing for me, to keep quiet. Anybody that knows me. Just been watching hundreds of football, mate. Any type of football. I know we're all Rangers fans, Gary, but I try to watch as much football as I can. Gives you a good insight to what's happening around the world, I've watched different things. So I'm just ticket to boo, mate. How are you?
Very well, mate. I, like yourself, watched a wee bit of the friendlies and stuff I was watching and enjoying the Chelsea game last night as well. Obviously, you're talking about the matches and we're talking about Rangers. What about the other night, mate? I want to hear your kind of opinion on the other night since we've not heard it yet.
Frustration, mate, is the word for it. The way we played for the first 30 minutes, it was the Rangers that I've not seen this season. Were absolutely fantastic. Alfredo was unplayable at times. Stephen Davis was playing out his skin. A great goal by Alfredo. Great ball there by Ryan Kent for the cross and that. And we were playing them off the park, and you're thinking, my prediction for the start was a 2-1 win for us in extra time, because I thought it would be tight, but at that point I'm thinking, this is going to be easy. Then the sending off. I'm turning to people in my house and I'm saying, this is a 3 or 4 nothing easy. And then we capitulated, mate. What happened in the second half? It was like a team of strangers coming on the park. No Rangers, strangers. And I wasn't aimed in the second half to get pass marks for me. A lot of players were lazy, played out position, especially Barisic. I listened to what Rudy said last night, and it's hard to watch a game again when you get beat. And I did watch it again. And it's without the emotion as you have when you're watching a game live, Gary. But Barisic was all over the place, and so was Big Connor. Crosses on the night were few and far between for me. But I think I don't know. Did the players go in at half time thinking we're 1-0 up, we're playing well? They're a man down. This is going to be a stroll. And then the gaffer comes out and said he thought he was looking at strangers. There was fear in their eyes. How can there be fear in their eyes? I don't understand that. But look, it's gone now. What can we do? It's gone. We're now on to a playoff for the Europa League, which we've done well in the last 3 seasons. But the main thing is a league, so we've got to pick ourselves up. I know we've got the League Cup game tomorrow night, but we've got to pick ourselves up, Gary. And for me, there's got to be a few changes. Who would they change? That's a $64,000 question, mate. But I'm disappointed and I'm angry. But I'm not going over the top like a lot of people have about the result. It is what it is, and we'll take it on the chin, mate.
You're right, Jimmy, and it isn't the be all and end all. That game the other night there hasn't finished their season, and technically, Bridge will bring you in this one. Technically, we're still in 4 competitions still. Do you think, Bridge?
Yeah, well, look, the one we wanted to be in and the one we should be in, still be in, there's absolutely no idea. Nobody has any idea what happened to our team in the second half. We know it. Other than we're watching it, and I'm thinking to myself, they need to do something about Borna. Borna's having a very poor game, isn't it? Is he injured? They're saying that to the guys on the boot, mate. Is he injured or anything like that? They said no. And then you see the ball time after time going down the wing, and he's lost. He's lost. Absolutely lost. That big fella with the beard, he ran right past him, ran through him, jumped over the top of him. Borna never had an answer to him at all. And but that, his concentration went, and he just wasn't guarding up. He wasn't doing the end at all. So it was a weakness in our team. However, the game, it was a sad end from after 45 minutes of thinking to so that wee guy that got sent off was one of their better players. He was the wee killer in the midfield. He can go out there and do things, and he gets sent off. My God,
was never a sending off. Never in a million years.
I'm not caring whether it was or whether it wasn't. The thing is, he did get sent off. But the thing is, we did nothing with it. It's as if we switched when we went into it. I came out at half time. It's as if we switched Borna Barisic off.
Aye.
To make up for their only one man did. I think that's what it was. It was like equalising it. Oh, just shocking.
Jimmy,
Yes.
if you look at our last 3 games, each time when we came out the second half, that's when we've failed to go on and win the game. Why do you think that is?
Well, it's got to do with attitude, Gary. It's obviously got to do with attitude. Look, we've all played football at a reasonable level. Obviously know the level that these guys are playing at, but it's about attitude. So if you've got the attitude that the game's finished, thinking, no, this game's finished. But look, I think there's 2 or 3 players who don't want to be there. Like, that's just my what I'm saying. I just don't. I know where Bridgman sits and where my boys sit. And when Barisic is running towards them, right, it's as if he's gave up. What is that all about? No, he's playing for Rangers, and Golson as well. It's all about attitude, mate. Have they got I'm not buying into this that they're playing in front of 50,000 now and they can't handle that. I'm not buying into that one at all. I think it's attitude going on the part. Is there a fear there? Well, I'd like to know what the fear is. What is the fear? They're playing for Rangers. They're well-paid professionals. We've got a chance to be immortals at Rangers and get us into the Champions League. But now they're going to have to do it the hard way, and that means they need to win this league again. And then that gives us automatic Champions League in next season. So it's going to be hard for us if we don't pick ourselves up. When we play the Puddle Drinkers on the 29th, and we need to start to get going. We've got 1 league game before we play them, and that's against Ross County up there, and that's no a gimme. The way we're playing now.
For me, Jimmy, I feel that we probably did miss Roof and Kamara, and unjustifiably that they shouldn't have had the bans. I mean, they should have been in our squad for the Champions League. Yeah. And I think if we had gone into that second half the other night there, I think if we had a Roof and we had Kamara there to kind of manage the game for us, I think you would have probably seen a different performance.
Aye, maybe so, but we can't live in if, buts and maybes, Gary.
Aye, of course.
No, just like Bridgman said there, I don't think that boy should have been sent off, and as Bridgman rightly says, he doesn't care, the referee sent him off. The UEFA made the decision about Kamara and Roof, so we need to stand by that. But we're all in here week in, week out saying that the pool of players that Rangers have got is a great pool. We were sitting here waxing lyrically last week about we could put out 2 first teams. So we can't work cake and eat it. If we've lost 2 players like that, then we should be able to replace them in some shape or form. And we haven't done that, mate. And that's a sad thing. But it's no too late. It's not the middle of the season or 2/3 through the season. I know it looks bad, right? We're not in the Champions League. But let's move forward with this, and let's get all this rubbish away. It's coming out for a lot of quarters. No, I know it's no comfort. And I heard a couple of dissenters last night on here. But that's part and parcel of being a Rangers fan. But we'll come out of this, Gary. Without a doubt, we'll come out of this. And it's a glitch, mate. Let's go forward. It's a glitch.
Yeah. Bridge, I suppose tomorrow night's going to be the perfect game for us, isn't it? I suppose it's a must-win for the team as well. But it can be a good confidence booster if we get a good result, and probably a chance for some players to come in as well.
Well, look, we've lost 3 games in a row we lost. Yeah. Admittedly, 2 Champions League games and a wee tough match over at Dundee United, but it's still 3 games in a row we lost. The Rangers really can't afford that. And the whispers going around in the Copeland here, about people talking about this, now getting up to the last 10 minutes, and they're saying we've got to do something because we'll not win anything. Just like Jimmy said, you're not going to win anything. Yep. We need to do something. So one of the guys turned around and said to me, and they're shouting, of course, once everybody hear them. If we don't win on Friday night, there's going to be hell to pay, because it'll be 4 in a row, and Rangers can't afford 4 in a row. They can't afford it. Can't afford 3 in a row. It's just unreal. It's just unreal. So the Rangers have got all to do, the manager and the squad, our coaches and that, they've got to get it right. There's an attitude issue. I don't know if it's a bad attitude, good attitude, a bit of melancholy kicking in there, the Rangers need to get everything needs to be spot on. Their match fitness has got to be spot on. Everything about their game has got to be spot on, but it's not. So whatever's happened to Borna, he can't take a free kick, he can't get past the wall, over the wall, or nothing. So that needs to stop, and he has to put him out in the pitch and give him the ball, 100 balls, get that over that wall, build a wall. Let's see you doing it. Get that feeling back that you can just take this, no problem. It's going to take a while.
Yep. Jimmy, I think you're like the manager. I think it's time to park whatever happened the other night there and start afresh, especially with the tomorrow night's game, because I think, I would imagine with Ruth being in the press conference today, he'll be one of the ones that will be starting for us. And that boy always seems hungry for us, especially when he's up front.
Yeah, you're talking about the press conference. I know we're going to hear that soon, but I just think, I'll just put my top and say my worth on it. I think the situation with the press conferences and Rangers no giving outlets to newspapers, I think is an absolutely ridiculous situation that Rangers have put everybody in. And I think there's something happening at Rangers. I don't agree with it. I know the media's not been good to us in the past, but I just think it's blanket internet papers are about them and others. Rangers' only coverage is by outlets or forums or fans' forums. I totally am against it. I think the newspapers should be given a better go at it than that. There's something no happening. The fight air cinching, things like that. There's something no right at Ibrox to do, Gary, and it doesn't smell very nice, mate.
Let's just hope it isn't, obviously, like you say, is affecting the players in the park or whatever, you know what I mean? Yep. What I say is we're going to hear from the manager and Mr. Steven Gerrard.
Stephen, a tough week undoubtedly this week against a backdrop of what you achieved last season. Where does this rank in terms of the challenges you faced as Rangers manager?
Well, at the beginning of the season we spoke about having to move on from last year. I think as a club and as a manager I made it pretty clear that we need to move on. I agree with you in terms of having a tough week and the challenges that are in front of us. It's very much about trying to get back in a good place as quickly as we can. I think the best way to do that is to win your next football match. This League Cup match is really important to us. We've picked a squad, and I'm going to pick a team that's really strong, which will mirror what I'm saying. And as soon as we win that football game, which we intend to do, I'm sure the feeling will flip a little bit more in our favour, and then we've got to move into the next challenge. So we're well aware of the week we've been through. I'm well aware of the challenge that's in front of me and us, and it's very much a case of getting to this kick-off as quick as we can, because that's the only thing we can do is move into the next game and try and win what's in front of us.
More specifically, just looking at the qualification for Champions League and the impact that not reaching that has, is there any indication that you will have to trim your squad or that players might now want to leave?
Not on the back of the last two results in terms of Europe, but at the same time I'm well aware of how this club works and how it runs, and we are a club that if the right numbers land for our players, we do have to recycle. I'm well aware of that. But nothing's been said to me since the game in terms of being in a rush or a hurry to do that, and nothing's changed in terms of me wanting to keep my best players here to give us the best chance of being successful moving forward. But I totally understand how the club runs, how it works, and if the right numbers land for one individual or a couple of individuals, I know they'll be considered above me. So I'm not naive enough to sit here and think that the last two results won't have an impact somewhere down the line.
What's the mood like in the dressing room and on the training pitch? Because this is unusual territory for your players, especially after the season they had last year.
Yeah, look, I think when you lose 3 football matches within a week, I think you can quite work out how the mood's been. But that's my job to lead in these situations and make sure that we flip this mood as quick as we can. But obviously you can pick the lads up, you can reset, but until that actual next game comes around, you've got to use this feeling to try and react in the right way and try and find that performance that flips the mood. That's exactly where we are right now. I don't want to lie or bend the truth and say that everything's fantastic at the moment. We're all cracking jokes and it's a really fun environment to be in. It doesn't work like that at Rangers. If you get a bump or you get a setback or a couple of results that are not ideal, we want the mood to feel like it does, because that's where the reaction and that's where the turnaround comes from, because players don't like this feeling, coaching staff don't, and neither do our supporters. So it's about unity, sticking together, getting that next game here as quick as we can, and then trying to put in a performance that turns our form and turns the mood.
Have you had a chance to sort of gather your senior players together and maybe have a chat about what's gone wrong and how you can turn things around?
We've spoke to them all. I speak to my senior players on a daily basis. I haven't literally got 7 or 8 of them into a group, into my room. I haven't done that. I've got great relationships with them all on a daily basis, and whether we win, lose or draw, the relationship and the communication's always there, every single game.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon, Matt.
Last week this week you've been involved in 3 different competitions, and you've got 5 games between now and the international break. Obviously you've got a dedicated squad for Europe. Is it your intention to move to squad rotation, or with this been relatively early in the season, that you assess your squad game by game and see who gets to the scratch line and then choose them?
No, I don't think I'm in a position where I have to make wholesale changes. I think for different reasons throughout pre-season people have been missing, whether that be a family issue, whether that be an isolation issue, whether it be an injury issue. The squad's starting to feel healthier, bodies are coming back and main players are getting in and around it. You look at our injury list now, only Sakala, who's got a niggle and groin, who we've decided not to risk tomorrow. Besides Sakala, we've got a fully fit squad to pick from, besides Jack and Katic that you're well aware of. So things will settle down. I totally understand and appreciate the external scrutiny at the moment because of the start we've had, and losing 3 in a week is totally understandable. But for me, it's important to stay calm and realistic. We've played 2 games in the league. We've won 1 and lost 1. And our direct rivals have done exactly the same. The League Cup hasn't started as of yet. Correct me if I'm wrong. The FA Cup hasn't started yet and doesn't start till after the new year. Okay, we haven't qualified for the Champions League, and over the 2 legs we haven't deserved to qualify in the Champions League. And the realistic opinion on that from me is maybe we're not ready. Are we ready for PSGs? Are we ready for Chelsea's and Man City's to come to Ibrox? Maybe not. At the end of the day, we've proven that we're a last 16 team in the Europa League. We've tried to punch above our weight in the last week and move into that playoff round in the Champions League. We couldn't achieve it. We have to accept that and move on to the next challenge as soon as possible.
Looking back at the Malmo game, first half you'd largely unrelenting pressure. They did have a little spell in the game. You had a goal. They had a player sent off. With hindsight, your instructions, your changes for the second half, is there anything you would do differently?
Hindsight's a wonderful thing in football. I thought game plan wise in the first 45 minutes the players were outstanding and carried it out perfectly well. The plan was to always try and win the first half and get in the half time at a good place. At the time you're thinking the sending off's a bonus, if you like. Looking back on the information that myself and the staff give the players at half time, I wouldn't change any of that information. We haven't performed well enough in the second half to continue where we was in the first half, and we've got 2 restarts badly wrong. So we'll certainly be looking at them situations to try and improve moving forward. But I'm not looking back and thinking I made mistakes in terms of team selection. Once they scored, I tried to be as positive and as bold as I can in my substitutions to try and find that goal again. We had enough pressure, we got into enough right places. But if you don't execute, you can't turn results around, or in game or after the game.
Stephen, you obviously mentioned in pre-season how important the domestic cups were going to be to you, looking to be able to achieve one. Given Tuesday night, has this changed your thinking in terms of your approach to the game, given the fact that it now looks like a good opportunity to get the team back on form?
No, not at all. We made it abundantly clear to the players and the squad before we kicked the ball this season that the domestic cups are important and that we want to try and be successful in both. We want to go all the way in both. So I think you'll see in my team and squad selection tomorrow how serious we're going to take this competition, and I'm sure once the Scottish Cups comes round as well, we'll be given that full focus and trying to do as well as we can in both. We see them as two opportunities to add silverware to us, so we'll be going full throttle to try and win them both.
And then also, just as we touched on there was a great deal of pressure on Malmo towards the last 10 minutes of the game. A number of corners getting in. It's something that's maybe been a bit lax for us in terms of set pieces so far at the start of this season. Is that something that your team's picking up on?
We're working on it. We work on them for every game. I think there's got to be two sides of it. We've obviously got to put the right quality into the right areas, and then we've got to have enough players that want to go above and beyond and be aggressive on them to go and try and score goals. It is something that we're working on in terms of all our final third play. I think set pieces comes into that as well, so we have to get the execution right in the final third if we want to win games and be consistent, that's for sure. But yeah, you're right, we are working on it.
Hi Stephen.
Hello.
Stephen, you said in relation to the question about players potentially leaving, it will happen somewhere down the line. If you're being realistic in light of missing out on the Champions League funds, is it realistic to assume that that's going to happen in this window?
Well, to be honest with you, even if we were successful against Malmo, if the right number lands for a player here, I think the board are going to listen and consider it. That's the way it is. That's the way the club works. I think that's always been the case, and it always will be moving forward. We honestly, hand on heart, haven't had a realistic bid in black and white for any of our players. We haven't had a serious phone call for any of our players. That's the reality, and that's where it is right now. But whether the Champions League progress happened or not, I don't think it changes too much. If the right number lands for the right player, I know in my position the board are going to bring it to me.
And previously you just said there that, maybe this club isn't ready for Champions League football yet. Why do you think that is? And do you accept that the club should minimum be reaching the playoffs of that competition?
Yes, we're really frustrated and disappointed that we didn't overcome Malmo, because I believe if we would have performed to the level that we're capable of, I think we would have been good enough to progress. So that's certainly on myself and us. What I meant by that was we haven't been able to achieve that, so the evidence is quite clear that we're not ready to make it to the Champions League. So maybe we need to keep on improving, realise where we are, keep trying to get forward, learn and grow, and then maybe somewhere in the future we are ready for it.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Well, big thanks to Fox for that interview there. Guys, Stephen Gerrard, as always, speaking the truth. I'll come to the two of you with this question. I'll come to you first, Bridgeman. He said there that it's clearly the team are not ready for Champions League football. So what is it that we need to improve on to be ready for Champions League football?
In my opinion, and everybody in the world knows my opinion on this, and I've been saying it for a long time, we are not ready for Champions League. We're not a Champions League team. We don't have the big main. You need about 5 or 6 top quality players in your team to play Champions League football at a good rate, So we've got one good player who would step into any Champions League team, and that's Mr. Morelos. The rest of them I'm not saying they're rotten players, but they find their level somewhere around about the Europa League. And you want continuous good runs in there in order for them to improve, possibly in a season or two at that level. Other than that, you're going to have to go and buy it. You're going to have to go out in the marketplace and buy the quality, because we just don't have it. I don't see it anyway. Maybe Jimmy sees it at some other players. I don't see any players on our team that you could honestly say are Champions League material. Morelos, and that's it.
JFK?
I totally disagree with Bridgeman. I mean, how can you say that we're no Champions League material? We're in the qualifiers. We won the league. We're entitled to be in the Champions League. I know what you're saying. Some of our players maybe no be Champions League stature, but look, it's all right the gaffer saying that after we've been beat. No, maybe we're not ready for Champions League. Of course we're ready for Champions League. I want to go every Wednesday and Tuesdays and Wednesdays and see Rangers playing the Champions League at Ibrox. That's what I want to do. I don't want to be in the Europa League every season after winning the championship in Scotland. If that's the case, then you'd be as well just saying, put the champions of Scotland into the Europa League only and don't give them a chance. Look, we should have beat Malmo and we didn't, right? And that's gone now. But I'm really disappointed with the gaffer. He kind of contradicts himself. He says maybe we weren't ready for the Champions League and we should have beat Malmo and blah. I mean, no, for me, we're a Champions League team because we deserve to be in the Champions League, right? Because we won our championship. So no, I'm not having that one. I think I'm disagreeing with the fact that I don't think we're just a Europa League team. I think we're a Champions League team. I think we've got enough good players in to compete the Champions League, and that's where I want Rangers to compete every season. I'll take the Europa League as a consolation, but I'd like to take it as a consolation after maybe get knocked out of the Europa League.
Is this why this season title's got to be important, Jimmy? Then we obviously with the riches it's waiting for us because it's automatically into the Champions League then?
That's what I said at the start, Gary. I just think this is a bigger season because it's going to be a harder season because we now need to win the league to get into the Champions League proper. Look at all the hard work that Rangers have done the last 3 seasons for the Scottish coefficient. Nobody else had done it. Would it not be ironic if we didn't win the championship and the puddle drinkers, the sheep, or the spoon burners managed to get in, or the watery farts, managed to get into the Champions League, and we're sitting outside looking in? That would be a travesty for me. Rangers should be in the Champions League. We are a Champions League team. We know we've not got the Gascoignes, the Laudrups, the Albertses, and all these players for years gone by. We know that, But yeah, I'm going to ask Bridge a question. Do you think we'd a Champions League team in 1992? Bridge.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's a difference, right? 1992. Look at the. 1992 wasn't full of world class players. We had a few decent, good players, but we deserved to be. We actually deserved to be in the final because we were robbed of that. But that's getting back to no. But the pool of players we've got to do, I'm 100% convinced that they're good enough to compete in the Champions League, and I think not being given that chance is hurting me. I'd love to see this everybody else playing in the Champions League at Ibrox, but it's not happening this season. We'll need to see what happens come May.
But Jimmy, we've just seen 2 games in which we were equal to them, or maybe even better, watching lots of possession and so on and so forth. But we still couldn't beat them, even when we were given the advantage. We had a good goal scored, well done,
right?
And they lost a man, and we're out there in the second half for 45 minutes. We should be right. Wasting them. We should have wasted them.
The gaffer saying that he doesn't. He's made the comment that he doesn't think maybe we're not ready for the Champions League. Whose fault's that then? I mean, I'm not calling for Steven Gerrard. I want to see Steven Gerrard sign on for another 3 or 4 years. Why? I mean, somebody needs to put their finger on it. Why they're not playing.
Jimmy, is it maybe the limited? I mean, we have got a cracking team, but is it? I mean, do you reach the ceiling of your expenditure where you can't like Bridge was saying earlier, you can't spend that, I don't know, the £10 million on a striker that will take you there. I mean, to be fair, the other night there when I was watching Malmo and when they went down to the 10 men, the technical ability of them controlling us was scary to see, because I mean their league personally I think is no much better than us, and you're like, yeah, if you've got that kind of technical ability in that league, why were you no shot in a league like that where we could pick up these guys that could take us to that next level?
Aye, but we've turned into at this moment in time lost 3 games. We've turned into a poor team, an unfit team. Against Dundee United, we didn't look fit. Dundee United wanted it more than us, and they ran us into the ground. So and then the same against Malmo last week. We just, for whatever reason, we didn't want it hard enough. And then again on Tuesday night. So they need to get their finger out. They're not a bad team overnight. We were all sitting here at the start of the season saying, we're going to win this league at a canter. And I was one of them, right? And I thought, this 56 is coming. But playing like that, as I say, Ross County in the league is no a gimme. And I would say probably Dunfermline is no a gimme, but I think we'll beat them quite comfortably. And that should hopefully get them back on track again. And that's all we're wanting. Because, we've got 2 hard games coming up against the Armenian team. And I tell you what, these guys are not going to be any pushovers, mate.
Mm-hmm. Aye. But, Jimmy, and I'll take this to Bridge. And obviously, anybody that's wanting to give us a wee phone in, I want your opinion as well on it. You said there about this year, how important it is. I mean, was last year more important, or is this year the most important league to win? Because we're looking at it now that it seems to be that 55, it was great to win it, but this year's got to be more important to us financial-wise. So what league title's got to be more important, do you think? And I'll take that to Bridge. You there, Bridge?
We've got to win the league, and it's as simple as that. Everybody's been saying so. And the rewards at the end of it are great. And we don't know how much we would gain financially, but it'll be a bloody sight more than winning the Scottish Premiership, But we're not going to do it if we don't win the league. And we ain't going to win the league if we don't go and win games. And the conundrum's all there. You play against Dundee United, and they're absolute rubbish. They're mince. One blunder, the ball falls to the guy, puts in the net, done. Game over for us. And we couldn't recover. We could recover play-wise because we had tons of play, but we just couldn't recover from an attack perspective. We just couldn't do it. I'm sorry to say these things. It's bloody true, but we need our team and our players. We need the players to be at the top of their form, and that's up to the coaching staff and Mr. Gerrard and the management team. They have to get all this together. It's not easy. It's not going to be easy. But most important, given that we've won 55, we have to go and follow up for 2 reasons. One, to get into the Champions League proper, first go, and second, to show that we're still capable of winning the league. Simple as that to me.
Jimmy?
Obviously, we want to win the league every year, Gary. I want to win. I want to win everything that we're in. I don't care what we're playing in. I want us to win it. But to turn around and make that comment about maybe we're not ready for the Champions League, you're not going to be able to afford players for next year's Champions League if you don't get money for this season's. But we've just lost £40 million by not getting into the Champions League. So that then has a snowball effect, an avalanche in my mind, is that we have to sell our better players to try and keep the club afloat. Right? Because there's a lot of rumours are going about different type of money that's still outstanding. We don't know if that's true or no. But there's talk about Alfredo might be getting wee tug for Porto. They're in the Champions League. There's even a story I heard the day that Hollander's maybe going to get a wee chunk for Malmo. So it's all right saying that sell Fred for 25 million, but who are we going to bring in? We got Fred for a steal. We got Kamara for a steal, 50,000. But who are we going to bring in, Gary? No, winning the league this season is a priority to get into the Champions League and be there. I mean, see all this rubbish about 5 teams for this country getting finishing 3rd and 4th. The champion should be in it automatically, but we're no. So we need to go on with that. We need to win the league this season, without a doubt, mate. Without a doubt.
The manager did touch on that about how the right offer comes in, and he understands how the club works now. That they've got to kind of look at it and see if it's acceptable and stuff like that. But he did. Usually when he said that before. Sorry, I was cut across. Is that Robert? We got Robert in?
Yes. Good evening, Gary.
Hi,
Robert.
Doing?
Hi, Jimmy. Good evening, Bridgeman.
What you want to tell us, Robert? I hope
Hello,
you're
Robert.
well.
How are you coping?
Oh, I've not had I've not had a good 2 or 3 days. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm sitting here on my chair in the wee show, always cheers me up to hear talking about the Rangers. But I just want to, if Jimmy, you there?
Yes, pal.
Jimmy, I just want to put it as a fan's perspective, and because I'm the same as you and Bridgeman and getting millions of Rangers fans. That game on Tuesday night, now I'll give you my situation, as you know, I'm in hospital. Now, in the afternoon, I've got diagnosed with clots in my arm and need blood transfusion. No, that's fine. It's all been done and I've been quite well. I'm saying to the doctor and the nurse, I'm not missing the Rangers in it. I don't care what you say to me. Blood transfusions for yours. I say, I don't care. I'm not missing the Rangers. Big game, and even if it wasn't a big game, I'm not missing my team. So whatever you have to do, but I'll have my iPad in front of me. So tell me, that's what a Rangers fan does.
Of course it is, Robert.
That's what I work for full passion. We do anything for my team. I even paid a tenner to watch the game because I couldn't go to my boy's team, his best pal, with my ticket. That's what a Rangers fan does. And that's what really hurts me about the players on Tuesday night. First 35 minutes, they were outstanding. I was so proud of them. And then it's just they run out of gas. It's just, I don't know what went wrong, but that second half performance was absolutely shocking. That was your chance, Jimmy. And they weren't a great team. They were a well-organised team, but they weren't a great team, Malmo. And that was your chance to lay down a marker and go to this next game and, get all the confidence back. And Jimmy, no other game. They're doing that other lot. They're doing that other lot confident. That's all they're doing. Yeah. And this cannot continue, Jimmy. Because, Jimmy, we've seen this movie before. When we went to Dubai, we came back to Dubai, Jimmy, and you know what happened. And I can see this movie happening again if we're not careful.
100%, Robert. As usual, mate, you talk sense. There's something just no happening. Look, you're like myself, Robert, an old idiot at the game, and the same as Bridgman. We could score a barrel load against Inferno tomorrow night, and then that's us, we're motoring on again, and that's what we're all hoping is going to happen. But we can't get into another game and come away with defeat, especially in the league. I think last season we threw away the 2 cups. We should have been treble champions. But the league's a be all and end all, and I just can't believe that we're not through. I had as a stick on to get through against Malmo. I thought it was going to be a gimme, I must admit, at the start when they get the draw. But as the start of the season went on, it looked as if Rangers were playing poor. And I agree with Bridgman. I mean, Dundee United aren't a great team, but they were fitter on us on the day, and they wanted it more. I know the ball came off us, Captain Stevie, but for me, it was a poor result. We didn't have any fight in us, say, in the last 2 games and all. So it's onwards and upwards, Robert. That's all it can be for us, mate. No, it's the start of the season, 1 win and 1 loss, 36 to play, mate. So we've got a lot to play for. But
that's what annoyed me. I mean, I've just seen that second half and I thought, there's no fights. We could play it at midnight, we'll no score. They were trying to do the same thing. Yeah. And I just don't know what's happened to. And you all know Tav's my favourite player, and even he's been off the boil. And there's just so many. How can they not all play like these Stephen Davis or be Alfredo Morelli? The days are all. And CBC, 11 players being their all, and we're just unlucky. But we were creating nothing, and I'm just so disappointed after Tuesday night. So bitterly disappointed.
Robert, I'm going to give a wee G up. I remember last season in the first 3 games of the league, and then we went to Livy and we drew. That took the wind out my sails. But look what happened after that for us. So let's hope tomorrow night, like you says, that the boys go out and the gives a good performance, gets the confidence back again, and then we charge on, because we're going into, like Jimmy's got to touch on later on about the Europa League. But that is kind of our wee favourite competition. We enjoy it. We play. Yeah. We do perform well in it. So, onwards and upwards. We've got. I'm just going to cut crochet. We've got Ulster in. Yeah, in Ulster.
All right. Yeah, I'm here. How are you? Is all good?
Very well, mate. What's your points tonight, buddy?
Well, first and foremost, Robert, really good to hear you, mate. And hope you keep well. Yeah. Hope you keep getting better.
Thank you,
That's the most important thing. Now we'll get on to not just as important thing which is football. I've been listening in there to tonight's show, and like everybody else, I think everyone's bitterly disappointed with the result, especially after doing so well in the first half, and the support were absolutely magnificent. Especially with Malmo going to 10 men. I think we all expected Rangers to come out dominate the game and sort of finish it from there. But it ended up Malmo came out the stronger side with the 10 men and dominated the game, got their 2 goals and decided to sit back for the rest of the game and soak up the pressure. Very disappointing, guys. Everyone's feeling the same about it, but it's concerning. Three games now in a week and we've lost them all. And I don't normally get too concerned too quickly. I don't like to make snap judgments, but so far it's very, very disappointing and it's a wee bit worrying. So we need to change this very, very quick.
Rich, come at you. The next game's the most important game, like the manager always says, isn't it? And what I says, I do see the game tomorrow night as a game for maybe people to come in and stake their place a wee bit in the team.
Yeah, and of course for ourselves as a team, we've been put out this competition last season quite early as well, and we really need to be able to come out and play well and put a result out for the fans, And Dunfermline, I think they're a poor team. I do really think they're a poor team. But of course, we've got this. Well, we're playing against Rangers. Scenario comes in, and they end up sometimes these players play the best game in their whole career when they're playing against the Rangers, but they can't keep up for anybody else, So we've got that type of scenario that could hit us. But really and truly, we're at Ibrox. We're playing against Dunfermline. What else have we got to think? We've got to think we're going to beat this mob. We've got to think we're going to beat this mob. And the players must start to think we're going to beat this mob. Not kid on about it. Really mean it. We're confident. We are far better than them. Let's go out and play our game of football and we'll run them into the ground. That's what I think you should say.
Robert, is there anybody in particular you're maybe looking forward to seeing tomorrow night getting a wee start?
Yeah, well, I'll actually don't mind. I'll give you my team. Is it too early for that?
Fire away, mate. Fire away. On you go.
Well, my team tomorrow night would be John McLaughlin, young Nathan Patterson. I play Big Bassey. A central defence would be Big Hollander. I go with Hollander and Golson. And I go with Davis, Kamara, and Stephen Kelly. And up front, Ryan Kent, Morelos, and Ruth. That's my team for tomorrow.
Yep. Jimmy, you want to add to that?
I'm not going to pick a team for this game tomorrow night, mate. I think there'll be a few changes that we maybe no see. I think you might see the likes of young Kelly playing. I hope Patterson's playing. I hope Hollander's playing. I would drop a few of them. They're not too big to be dropped, so I'll hold off to my teammate. But to me, I would drop 3 or 4 of them, maybe even 5. They're no bigger than Rangers and some of them do. It's unfortunate Sakala can't play, but Scott Arfield for me was a waste of space.
Yeah.
Kent was a waste as well. He took Kent off. He should have taken Kent off when he didn't, but he didn't. I'll probably be. I mean, obviously, I'll probably go with McLaughlin. Then I'd play Patterson. I mean, Balogun didn't. No, it was poor. But my middle 3 probably wouldn't choice. Barisic at the back. I don't know, Gary. But he's already a place with the teams that we're talking about playing. So
we'll come back to you, mate. We'll come back to that one. What about you, Ogstaff? You got anybody you want in the team for tomorrow?
Team for tomorrow. Well, for a start, I want to see Patterson and Bassey on, and not because it's a weaker team in Dunfermline, is because Tavernier and Borna deserve to be put out of that team. They've not played well. Yes, they're great players on their day, but unfortunately, we're just not seeing them turn up this season so far. So I'd be having them hooked, have the 2 young lads on, and see how they go. If they play well, I want them to stay in that team. And it's like anything, Borna, Barisic and Tavernier will have to work hard to get themselves back in again. We can't just keep playing the same players when things aren't going right for us, guys. I'm telling you. I want to see changes big time in mentality as well, and I think that could be the kick up the butt that some of them maybe need if they see these young players coming in and desperate to keep those positions.
Brilliant, mate. I think we've been joined by Blue Star. Are you in, mate?
Evening, guys.
All right, Blue.
All right, Jimmy. Jimmy, I heard you saying that you were talking about team and changes for tomorrow night. I agreed with you last week and you disagreed with me in some points. First of all, Malmo, listen, we know the big guy up front, considering he was up front himself, although he kept two strikers, as we all know, he kept one kind of playing backwards. Bottom line is, they were down to 10 men before half time. We still had a whole second half. Our manager, after 15 minutes, now remember, there was still 35 minutes left in the game. Our manager never changed with style one iota. Jimmy, we've been down this line umpteen times, even dare I say it last season, when we went a run of games. Now, let's be truthful here. We went a run of games and half of them we don't know how we won because we weren't creating chances. There was a long period last season, okay, we were in front and everything, but we weren't playing great football. Now, we can't kid ourselves on here. Bottom line is that midfield, our field, Jimmy, you and I know what we think of our field. That's besides the point. The bottom line is that guy did not justify a shot. What's your manager seen in that guy that he keeps consistent to playing him? I just don't get it. I seriously don't get it. And as Thingby said, as we Robert said they're a wee guy in the hospital. We all know we've all got our own problems. The bottom line is we care about our football team. We spend money on them. If you don't get to a game, you still buy the merchandise. Goodness me, I can't believe. I never want to see them playing in that part ever again. Whoever designed that needs shot. That killed me, that part, Jimmy. That's the most ridiculous looking thing ever since when Lilac one with the two Blues brothers wore them, and they even said they didn't want to play in it again.
Well, they played a good game, Malmo.
They did, Jimmy, and that's a frustrating thing. But for the players that we had on that part, as we, Robert, and that's as you commented on earlier on there, I said it last night as well. We came back to Dubai twice, and we don't want to get down this same line. But the fact of the matter is, it's the exact same. We were in front in the league. We were leading. Both times we came back, and we never kicked a ball.
Yeah.
The Dundee United game for me, Jimmy, was absolutely, it was so transparent, and I'm glad you said what you said. For the first whistle, they were out of the tappiest like a rash the whole game.
Yep.
Now, that wasn't down to ability. That was down to sheer desire and want. Our players have just only shown it. And I want to know why. Now, our manager's looking at, he sees these guys in training. Now, why is it he's watching in training? Is he fear to drop certain players? Because the points came now. We cannot afford, if he gets beat them all night. I said it last night again, Jimmy. 3 defeats in a row is a catastrophe. See if we get put out another cup under Gerrard. We're in serious bother. Forget the league. We know the league's the most important, but if we go to this cup tomorrow night, we shouldn't even be thinking that way. But I'm telling you, Jimmy, see, since that Dundee United game, I was never confident after watching this on Sunday. I honestly wasn't, because the desire was not there. The first half, nobody's commented in the first 15 minutes. Malmo were out of the tappies. They never created a lot of chances, but they had all the ball. We couldn't get the ball after them. The second half of the first half, yes, for half an hour, we had all the ball. But the bottom line was, Jimmy, truthfully, how many clear-cut chances did we create? We didn't. Our keeper only had a couple of saves. He only had a couple of saves to make it 9 seconds of the game. We still don't have a guy in the middle of that park that's willing to take a shot. I just don't understand it all.
You're right, mate.
Plus that, I mean, you're right, mate. But like I was saying earlier on, last season we got to the Livy game and we drew, and I think everybody pushed the panic button then again. And after that game, we marched on to 55, buddy. So what I say is this. I think our unbeaten run was going to come to an end at some point, and I think this might be the wake-up call that maybe Rangers was needing, because a lot of the players might have been walking about with a bit of an ego, winning 55, unbeaten, and doing so well in Europa League and stuff like that. So, yeah, mate, I think what I say is tomorrow night's a perfect game for the team. I agree with you on that point. Well, I'll ask you this. Outside Kamara, who's a certainty to come in tomorrow night, who else have we got that we can bring in the middle of the park that we all reckon, genuinely here, that we reckon it as a right good player? Jimmy, name me one. I'm telling you, you're going to struggle.
Aye.
And that's the point. The midfield's the engine room of your team. And at the moment, we've not got MD on song. We don't have one.
Blue Star, I'll mention you.
Hold on, Robert. Hold on too much, mate. We'll go down everybody with that point. Right, so tomorrow night, we started talking about our teams for tomorrow night, but let's pick, because for me, I think the more nights maybe I seen Katic had a wee shot in the B team the other night there, so maybe it's a wee game for Katic to come in. For me, that's just my opinion. Maybe it's a game tomorrow night for Katic to come in. Bridge, what about you, mate? Who's going to come in tomorrow night? Who would be that one player that you would want in the team tomorrow night?
From an attacking or a midfield perspective?
Anywhere in the park you want to pick.
Oh, anywhere.
Aye, on you go.
I think Hellander's a certainty to come in. I think our middle, shall we say, our central defensive pair didn't actually cover themselves in glory over the last few games. So I think it'll be good to get Hellander back, provided he's fit, of course. If he's fit and available, then I think it'd be good to get him back, and that gives a wee bit more emphasis on the support of whomever it is. I would imagine Bassey will be back in at left back. Please don't play Borna Barisic. Please don't even think about playing Borna Barisic. Please. So you could put Patterson in and play instead of Tav, but I'm not that bothered whether Patterson gets in or no. I'm not too bothered about Tav getting dropped or anything like that. But I definitely don't think we should be playing Borna Barisic. I think his confidence must be shattered after that game. I know if it was me, my confidence would be gone. Because you can't play a whole 45 minutes in the second half and do absolutely nothing. Literally nothing. Every ball getting passed back. Wow, terrible. That's who I would like to see in the team.
Okay. Robert, what about yourself, mate? Who's do you want to see in the team for the tomorrow night? I know you've named your team, but who's the one player that's kind of sticking out for you?
Well, definitely big Hollander, and I think manager made a mistake the other night when not playing Hollander. I was disappointed. That was one of the mistakes he definitely made. But if the player I would want obviously can't play, but if everybody was fit, we had a full squad to pick for. First player on my team sheet, and I know people laugh and say he's a bench player, would be Ryan Jack. Because one thing about Ryan Jack, he might not be the greatest footballer in the world, but I'll tell you one thing, he'll drive you forward and he'll give you 110%. A fit Ryan Jack would improve, and that's the man I would have, because I want players out there tomorrow that I would take into the trenches with me, and Ryan Jack's certainly a player I would take into the trenches with me. So I would want Ryan Jack, but unfortunately he's out, and the sooner he gets back, and the sooner he gets back, and hopefully gets back in that team, you might see James Tavernier get back to his best, because Ryan Jack does cover a lot up for James Tavernier. So if I had my choice, that's who I would have in.
I wrote down a team there, Gary, while you were chatting. You want me to give you a team? I think you'll play. I think you'll play McLaughlin. I'd like to see him play Patterson, Katic, Hollander and Bassey. Aribo, Davis and Kelly, Wright, Alfie, and I think he will play Kent. But I know that's a kind of out there team, but I think even that team's more than capable of beating than Fairland, mate. But I know the gaffer's not going to play a team like that. It's too out there, as they say. There's too many changes, but there's people need dropped, and what I can't understand. Last week against Malmo, he stood in a live press conference and he praised Hollander.
Yeah.
And yet this week he drops him. No, just drops him, Gary. He doesn't even have him in the squad.
No, it's a strange one. I'll come to Ulster. What about you, mate? Who's your one player that you want in tomorrow night?
Well, as I said anyway, I would make big changes in the defence, but if it was one player, because I expect us to be in a more attacking play tomorrow, I'm more probably excited to see Ruth coming in again. So I hope he's playing. But just that was a comment I was going to make. JFK's already said it. He comes out after the game. He says Hollander puts in a Champions League performance. The next big game against Malmo, he's out of the team. Makes zero sense to me.
Yeah, I know. Blue Star, what about you, mate? Who's the one player you want in tomorrow night?
Well, Gary, that's what I'm saying. My main concern is the middle of the park. I said it last night. I'm baffled as to the oldest player that he's got on his boots, and he seems to be the only guy that I've seen that's no dropped his fitness levels is Davis. So I think you would need to bring Kamara. I would certainly start with Ruth. The boy Wright, I think for the start of the game, I said it again last night, there was 3 times he burst through the middle of the park. It caused them all sorts of damage. He went to look to the right to pass the ball out to Tav, and Tav was nowhere to be seen. So the ball kept getting shoved down to Barisic, who was Bridgeman's right. It was awful, truly awful. And even Tav, when he was trying to cross in balls, Jimmy, you know yourself, all your defenders were all well over 6'1", 6'2", 6'3". We punted boys in the whole night, and we've got a wee tiny guy up front. Incidentally, we know that the goal came for that, but that was merely a mistake for the goal, if you ask me. But the bottom line was, there was nothing getting played on the deck. The midfield, for me, is the most important thing. If a team's brainy enough with a manager that you can kind of nullify our left back and right back to stop them bombing forward, we are struggling in the middle of the park because there's not need to create anything. It just done me. For me, he brought in Lundstrom. He brought in the guy who's old, something wrong with the heart, Offenberg or whatever his name is. That's exactly what he was brought in for. Lundstrom, without a doubt, that's what everybody in their granny knew that he was a box-to-box player. Well, quite frankly, he's been awful. You couldn't even give him the game now. He has to obviously get fit and get over the style of play. Jimmy, I don't know how he'll do it. I don't know whether a player will go or no, but I'm telling you, he's got to bring in at least one more midfielder, somebody we know that can control a game, because we don't have one now. We don't have one. It's all right saying Ryan Jack and Stephen Davis. They're nearly at the end of their careers. We should have somebody in there. We keep getting told how great a squad we've got. Well, the proof of the pudding's in eating it. We haven't got a great squad, certainly not for the middle of the park.
Gary, can I cut in there because I'm going to go? I'm going to get blood at 9 o'clock. I just want to say, guys, it's brilliant. Thanks for having me on the show tonight, and I'll be listening to the second half. Because the Foot Rangers radio, God, it makes it so much tougher in here for me. But I just want to once again thank each and every one of you and all the Rangers families for all your kind messaging and all your support, and it really means so much to me.
Good to hear for you, Robert.
Thanks, Jimmy. We are the Rangers. And hopefully tomorrow night, the first of many on a wee run, we'll go on a wee run, because the puddle drinkers think they're smart, and when we get them at the end of the month, we'll put them in their place, and hopefully they're all right as the starter Rangers going in this run and going for 56.
Here,
guys,
pal.
thank you very much. I'm all good, Jimmy.
Take care, Robert.
Thanks, guys.
Good
night.
Bye, Robert.
Jimmy, I'm going to come back to you because you're making a point about Hollander there. You're talking that you didn't understand him coming back in the team, but do you know somebody for me who had a brilliant pre-season and who's hardly started a game is Big Itten. I felt Big Itten had a cracking pre-season, looked hungry and stuff like that, and yet the boys not had a chance. Now, that's not a slant on the manager. The manager's the man. He picks the team and stuff like that. But surely that boy, and it's the same with Kelly, the two of them, and I think I've heard folks say about Big Bassey having a great start to the season. Maybe Big Bassey is just no on the swing things yet. But I tell you something, Big Bassey had a good pre-season too. But for me, the more than I would like to see Big Itten up there as well.
I can't argue with that, Gary. You know, I just think Alfie will get the nod. But would you play the two of them up front against Dunfermline? Maybe aye, maybe no. Maybe play him along there beside instead of Kent. I'd love to see something like that, mate. Honestly, be a bit more adventurous.
Go for it. Aye.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, you sit back and relax, get yourselves on mute, and this one's for Robert. Here's the tune.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972?
Every Saturday we follow, we cheer the boys in blue, the most successful team in football. We're Scotland's gallant few, though at times they have been hard. We've followed near and far. You will always hear us roaring from the stands in Ibrox Park. Every Saturday we follow to cheer the boys in blue, the most successful team in football. We're Scotland's gallant few. team in football. We're Scotland's gallant few, who times they have been hard, will follow near and far. You will always hear us roaring from the stands at Ibrox Park. Whoa.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
You will always hear us roaring from the stands at Ibrox Park. Whoa!
Cheers, cheers to Fox.
Brilliant.
Cheers to Fox for pumping us up there for the second half. What a tune!
Yes.
Brilliant.
It was good to hear from Robert there. I know he's been going through a wee bad spell in the last week or so, but fantastic to hear from you, Robert. Thinking you're a time, mate. Get strong, get back. We are a people, son.
Perfect song for him, Jimmy.
Oh, definitely. I'll be jumping up and doing that hospital bed. But the nurses all dancing round about him.
Brilliant. Well, I think we've got a first-time caller coming in. Is it Mal? Are you there, Mal?
Aye, that's me here. I'm here, Bob. Thanks.
How are you doing, buddy? What's your points on tomorrow night, mate?
Well, hopefully we'll get results. We need one, obviously.
Aye.
Just like to say, boys, I just came across your channel there just about 10 minutes ago. It's great to come across your channel. It's very good to listen to it.
You're very welcome, mate. You're welcome any time, mate. And like I says, this is the Rangers Bears platform, mate. So the floor's yours, mate. Give us your points on tomorrow, and who would you like to see in the team?
Well, I just heard the boy there a couple of calls ago talking about Big Cedric getting a chance. I think I'd agree with that. I think it's a good game to give him a chance. I'm not wanting to slag Fairland, but we should be beating. So I think the likes of Fairland is a chance to give boys like Big Cedric and the likes of Bassey. You've got to run it. You know what I mean?
I'll come to Ulster. Ulster, are you a fan of it?
I think the boys want it.
I don't just let Ulster come in, Mal.
Oh, sorry, Mal.
Paul, on you go. Sorry, mate, on you go.
You're right, bro. I agree. Yeah, I like Bigot myself. To be honest, I think he deserves a chance because he played so well in pre-season, scored, albeit friendlies, but he scored goals. One goal against Real Madrid, another one against Arsenal. Which is top quality team. So I can't see what more the guy could have done. So I would definitely give him more chances in the team as and when we can.
It reminds me, I was talking to a fellow Rangers fan the other day, and they were talking about me, Big Cedric. It reminds me a bit of, you remember Eric Bo Anderson?
Aye, yep.
It reminds me a bit of Eric Bo. He was kind of unknown, kind of thinking, who's this guy? And Eric Bo. And Eric Bo, I always remember the day Eric Bo came on and scored 2 against Celtic in the last 10 minutes. I think it was 3-1 once. Big Cedric. It reminds me a bit of Eric Bo back in the day. So,
I'll take the point round the panel then. We'll go to Blue Star. Do you think you like Big Gittin? Think he should get his chance?
I guess I say, mate. I think the more nights the night will be for him.
We've got just shouting in Blue Star. Blue Star's going to come in with his point.
No problem. It's just problem.
Mal, Blue Star. Sorry. You there?
Aye, I still here, Paul.
No, I'm looking for Blue Star. I think he's away. Jimmy, I'll come at you, mate. What do you think of Big Gittin?
All right, Big Gittin, Gary, a day. The only reason I've not got him in my team is because obviously Alfie's the number 1 striker. But I wouldn't be too unhappy if the gaffer decided to throw a curveballer in and drop Kent and put it in and up with Alfie. I know that might be a left field away out there, but I do think there's a good player in that. And I know I've not put Hadji in my team, and I'm wanting Hadji so much to be a Rangers player. And I think there is a good player in there. And I just want him to come bursting out. I'm desperate for that because I think he's a cracking player. But the jury's still out me on him. But the big boy Hinton's no let us down pre-season. The boy Kelly as well. Look, as I said before, Gary, we bumped our gums about we could put 2 first teams out. Let's use them. That's what they're there for.
Mal,
Gary,
is that
I'm
you?
here. Sorry, I was on mute there.
Right. Aye, Blue Star come in then, mate, on that.
I don't see why he can't start with it. And I'm a bit like Jimmy there. Why can we know? Why not play it and Roof together? If he drafts Kent, so be it. I mean, let's be truthful here. We know he's our most expensive player, but he's not really been doing a lot. So he's like a few other players that have been automatically coming into the team. Surely to goodness, you're playing at Ibrox, you've went a few defeats. If you can't go out and show what you've got against it firmly, come on, guys. He should be able to play MD up there. But I agree with the guy Mal. He does kind of put you in mind a bit like an Eric Bo Anderson. He doesn't look as if he's a big robust player, but he's definitely got ability. I mean, you can see that he's got ability. So why not him and Roof up front? As I say, for me, I've got to be honest, guys. For me, certainly, I think he's a stick on. He definitely has to play Kamara in the middle of the park along with Davis and whatever third one. But the midfield, somebody's got to step up and help me Davo, because for me, the midfield's been dreadful. It really has.
Well said, mate. Bridge, Blue Star touches on they need somebody to step up. Could that man be Hadji? Because I watched him in the first game with Livingston, and unlucky for him that he got a really bad challenge on him. But for that first 20 minutes, was it 25 minutes? He was on fire, and he was in a more central position for us. So maybe Hadji's the guy that can open up the doors for Giant Bridge.
Well, he hasn't done it up to now this season, but he's looked as if he's wanted to play, and apart from getting that wee knock, he's done not too bad. But the other night there, he didn't play very well. Had a couple of shots that were wild, just wild. And I don't think he was ready for that game. That game was probably too much for him. But this game coming up, most assuredly. And the Blue Star saying about Big Itten and Roof, that's a brilliant idea. Get the two up. Let's play two up the front. At least stay two in the middle. And let's see if we can feed them for different sources. This is what we need to do. A Big Itten will put the ball in the net. He's been very successful at it. He's not the highest scorer in the whole world, but my goodness gracious, he's scored a lot of goals, and he's been involved with quite a few others as well. So I'm a big fan. I just feel sorry to be honest with you, I feel sorry because Itten he's got a mountain to climb to dethrone Morelos. Morelos is the best player we've got at Ibrox. He's shown that time and time again. He is the best player. He makes things happen everywhere he goes. He involves everybody. He's just good. And that's the kind of player we want. But tomorrow night, no problem. Drop Morelos, put to the bench, leave him off because he had a tough game the other night there, and put Itten and Roof in. Really, that would be really good for Roof. Very, very pleased to see his Wayne's okay. He's back, Wayne's okay, back home again. That's magic. So let's see what he can do on Friday night.
I'll start Hadji. You're a fan of Hadji?
Yeah, I like Hadji. He can make things happen a wee bit. Like Bridgeman said, maybe when he came on against Malmo, he didn't do too much. So maybe he could still have been carrying a wee bit of a knock from the Livingston game. But at least a couple of his shots were a wee bit wild. But at least he was trying. He had shots that we were sort of missing that. Nobody was taking shots from outside the box and stuff. So, but I think when he's fully fit and on song, he's a really good player to maybe unlock the defences. So yeah, we'll maybe see him tomorrow night. Hopefully he can have a good game.
Jimmy, you touched on Hadji's play. So if you put him into that central midfield, do you think he will be the one that can drive us forward?
Well, I'd like to think so, Gary. As I said, I can see not just a good player. I think he's going to be a world-day player, and I'm desperate for him to show that. So probably tomorrow night. I know I never put him in my team. It's probably the frustration I've got. I should probably have put him in there in the middle of the park. But I'm so desperate to see the boy Kelly do something as well. They just bringing young boys on and then no giving them a chance. Bring them through the ranks and then no giving them a chance to play. You can't just have them playing friendlies all the time, Gary. So Hadji, Davis, Kelly, maybe. I don't know. I wouldn't be too unhappy with that, No, but we know it's not going to happen. We know he's not going to go that so much left field. he's going to stick to his tried and trusted. He maybe drop Barisic and put Bassi in. Will he change it much for that? He might play Patterson, I don't know, but we'll just stay away tomorrow night, pal. But Hadji for me, I would maybe change my mind and say Hadji, Davis and Kelly. And I would like to think that maybe Kent couldn't kick anything at all now. So, I mean, right Fred, and when did I say right said Fred, I don't know. Right Fred and... but aye. Look, it's one of them, mate.
Mal, are you there, mate? What about you? What about Hadji? Do you like him in a more central position?
I agree with what the boys are saying. I think Hadji's the talent's here. It's definitely there, but definitely give him more game time. I agree with what the boys are saying. I also like to say, I agree with what the boy was saying about the boy Kelly. A friend of mine, he was on loan at Ayr United there last season after seen before, and a mate goes to watch there quite a bit. He was saying that he rates him. So I agree. I'd like to see Stephen Kelly again.
Aye, good shout, mate. I think we're joined by our Australian correspondent, Big Al. You in, mate?
There he is.
Al? No, he's not in yet, sorry. Aye, Mal, you make a good point about Kelly. I mean, the boy, again, he's another one that had a fantastic pre-season with us. He showed a bit of drive, a bit of dig. For me...
I've watched him in the game. I managed to the game against Real Madrid. I managed to get that, and I managed to stream that, and I thought he played well in that game. And as I say, my mate's an Ayr fan, and he watched him. He was on loan at Ayr. He didn't play much for Ayr, but when Mike said when he did play for Ayr, he stood at a mile.
Star, are you a fan of Kelly?
Yeah, aye. To be fair, that boy's looked the part whenever he's played, and I'd say the same for Hadji. I've always been a fan of Hadji, especially as I say when Gaffer played him in Europe. I've got to be honest. I think he was one of the few that was able to punch balls through, especially when he played with wee Alfie. Alfie got a lot of balls off the likes of Hadji, and certainly the other night he brought him on for me far too late. But by then they had started sitting back. I'm in pain, guys. I look at my football and I genuinely believe that when a team sits back against us and the gives a bit of space, I think that's when we're most dangerous, which sometimes I don't like, because when other teams are in our faces, I think some of our players lack a wee bit. But again, I'll say it, we're playing at Ibrox tomorrow night. We've went a few defeats. Goodness me, it shouldn't matter who he puts out tomorrow night. We should be all over them like a ass, to the first whistle to the last. And the fitness has got to get up in the whole lot of them. It definitely has. But I mean, Hadji or the boy Kelly, I would have no qualms along with Davis, because I think Davis is the only player that's showed anything along with Kamara in the middle of the park.
Aye, should this be a steamroller situation tomorrow night? Anyway, I think now we're joined by our Australian correspondent, Big Al. Jan?
Yes.
How you doing, buddy?
Gentlemen. I'm good.
The floor's yours, mate. Fire away.
Where do you start? Start
by winning. We're going to win tomorrow night. We're going to have a fight.
But we really shouldn't be in a position like this. Come on now.
Correct.
It was the same for the look. I'll reiterate what you were just saying there. It shouldn't matter what team we put tomorrow. We're playing Dunfermline and Ibrox. We should be winning, but we shouldn't be having a discussion like this either. 4 or 5 games into the season, drafting the so-called best players we've got, and then changing the team. I think therein lies some of the problem that Gerrard's made for himself. This, as Jimmy says, the curveballs he throws. They're not that very good curveballs, I'll tell you that. They're missing every curveball he throws. Even for me, watching the first game, the Tranmere game, I wasn't comfortable after that game. I'm saying, what's happening here? Right, you can take into account all these players, so-called players that we had away and that. What was it? 3 of them. 3 of them. What was the total game time between the 3 of them?
Oh, well, Barisic was injured, right enough.
Aye. I think it was 4 minutes, was it not, between the 3 of them?
Alfredo only played...
One at a time, guys, please.
Go ahead.
Alfredo only played 4 minutes. Kamara was the only player that played games.
Kamara, right, there's another problem. I'm not here to bring loads of problems onto the show, but it's just stuff, observations I'm making. If Kamara's want to sign a contract, they should have signed a contract. Now, that's done at the management team before he left for the Euros, or as soon as he came back, a contract should have been, because I think that's impeding him his play. Same with Big Connor Goldson. He's wanting to play for us, he signs a contract. If he doesn't, somebody said the other night they're putting the B team. You know what to do? Put him on the bus to somewhere else if he doesn't want to play for us. Sign the contract. You need to have that continuity. That's done at the club and the management team. Hey, they things sorted out. If they haven't got their things sorted out, they should then be strategising for having their problems, playing other players. Why is he dropping our best centre half, in my opinion, Hollander, for Balogun the other night? Balogun's been atrocious the whole of this the pre-season games. He was atrocious the other night there. We've got another player, Ryan Kent, only a few weeks ago was nutmegging Real Madrid players. I know it was a friendly. Whatever's happened to him over the past couple of weeks, I don't know. That's done to the management team. Steven Gerrard.
Can I jump in there and ask Big Al a question? Al, how you doing, pal? Did you hear the presser for the gaffer the day, Al?
No, I heard the presser the other day there when he said we'll try and beat Dunfermline.
No, I'm talking about, he was asked a question about the Champions League. No, and his answer was basically that maybe we're not ready for the Champions League. Maybe we're not a Champions League team.
Well, I've said that.
Well, I think that's the wrong thing to say, mate. I think we are a Champions League. That's just me. I'm just. Aye.
Well, club stature, maybe we are. And as fans, I think we think we're a wee bit bigger than we are, and that's good. It's good to have the ambitions, and the club should have the ambitions.
Yeah.
But on the park, everybody said we were on the park. We're not really that team, Champions League team. How many players in that? The Champions League doesn't start today. Do you play the big teams in the groups?
Exactly.
That's when the Champions League. I think maybe our level as a team on the park, on a piece of paper, playing style and things like that is the Europa League. Champions League is a big step, isn't it?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I don't want to be derogatory to the team, but I think this Chopman changing. And for the outset, I want Patterson playing. I want young Kelly playing because they're good enough to play in the Scottish Premier League. That's their bread and butter. And then you could maybe make the players after a season or two into Champions League players. Build a team that is a Champions League team. I think it's just maybe a step too far at the moment. We're getting a wee bit ahead of ourselves. It's very disappointing. Very, very disappointing. The whole season's...
I'll take that.
I'm rambling on here.
No, mate. You're not. I'm actually going to take your point, Rune. You talk about Patterson there, and we're talking about the boy Kelly, and we're talking about Hadji. So, Mal, are you still there, mate?
Aye, absolutely.
Aye. So, Patterson, does he start for you tomorrow? Because I think for me it's a perfect game for him.
Definitely. I rate wee Nathan as well. It's the same way I was talking about Stephen Kelly. Definitely. I was start Patterson tomorrow. I think the boy that was on a few calls ago talking about Barisic. So I'd give Patterson a chance in front of Barisic. I'd give him a wee run of games.
Ulster, are you still there, mate?
Yeah, I'm here, mate. Yep.
Aye. So Patterson for you, are we starter tomorrow?
Yeah, definitely. And as I say, if he plays well, I don't want to see him out of the team the next game. I don't want players that come in and play well tomorrow put out of the team for a so-called bigger game the next game. I want them, if they play for the jersey and play really well, I want them to stay in the team for the following games and let anybody who's out of the team work hard for their jersey to get back in again.
Blue Star?
Gary, if you can drop McGregor to play McLaughlin, why can't you drop one of the so-called favourites or one of the so-called more established players to play youths that we know has got ability? If you can't play them in a cup game at Ibrox, then when can you play them?
Aye. Jimmy?
He's not going to drop Tarvin Goldson when it's an important league game. We know that. So therefore, if you can't play them in the early rounds of a cup, these boys are never going to get a proper chance. So, by all means, you should be able to play them against Dunfermline at Ibrox.
See, that's what surprises me a lot about Steven Gerrard. You know, he came from the Liverpool great team, right, who won the Champions League after the famous game when they were 3-0 down, and watching him play for Liverpool week in and week out. Look at some of the players at Liverpool. I know they could bring in world class players, but look at if you weren't good enough on the day, you get dropped. And I just think there's a bit of fear factor that Steven Gerrard's maybe trying to prove up here that he can do it. And as I said before, we've got two first team pool of players there, and we should be able to pick a first 11 game by game. But the players we've got, but for whatever reason, he's sticking with the same ones. If he consistently goes with Tavernier and Goldson and Barisic the way things are going now, then we're doomed, guys. The biggest part of your season last season was our defence. We lost 4 league goals at Ibrox a whole season. Right? Yeah. I know we lost goals in Europe, but it was good to go and win games 3-2 and 4-3 and all that. But this is their bread and butter as a league. And if he doesn't get the act together, then we know what's going to happen. It's not going to come from me. I mean, myself and Big Al, I think we're the only ones on here a couple of years ago who said that if he didn't win the league that season, then he would be for the heave-ho. Right? Yeah. And being honest, the only reason he did keep his job was because they were given the tainted title. Because I think if they'd have went on and won the league by playing the football, I think there'd have been a lot of Rangers fans shouting for his head. We know what it's like in Glasgow. We know it's a bubble, as they call it. He needs to realise it. No, half of us could pick a better team sometimes. So he needs to realise it. Yes, pal.
Guys, Jimmy, there's one of the things. See what you said there? You hit the nail right in the head. A lot of his teams are completely baffling. Now, fine, that's what he's in. That's what he gets paid for. He's a manager of our club. But one of the biggest drawbacks to him, and there's nobody can clarify more to be inside with him. See his substitutions and when he makes them, they're absolutely mind-blowing. He's got players there because he keeps telling us how good a squad we've got. As you said, sometimes you say to yourself, well, we could barely put out a cup team and a league team. But he sticks with the same 3-4 constant. The continuity is one thing, but how can you manage a squad properly when certain guys are on form but they just don't get games? You can't do it. So therefore, in cup games, you've got to give guys like your Kellys, your Bassies. These guys have been playing in pre-season, and we all know it. They look the part, so you've got to give them a chance.
You're right, Bruce. I've got to take this to Mal and Big Al as well. Are we pressing? Come to Mal first. Mal, are we pressing the panic button here? I mean, we are only a couple of games into the season.
I don't think it's quite that bad yet, mate, but I get your point. But if we don't get a result tomorrow, I think it's definitely panic stations. We should get a result tomorrow. And no offence to Dunfermline, we should be beating Dunfermline 3-4-5 nothing tomorrow night. But if we don't get a result, it's definitely panic stations.
Big Al?
No, it's not the panic button, it's the frustration button. That's a fair point. That's a fair point, mate. That's a fair point. I'm frustrated, man, because look, we've made a run for our own back for having such a good season last year, but as the club says, better never stop. So I think they should have put their hand in their pocket, because I'll tell you one thing, the fans have done it for them. Castor bring out a new thing every 10 minutes, and they're getting bought up left, right and centre. So they can't say they've not got any cash. I think, I was thinking about this the other day there. See at Man United when Ferguson was in charge, see when a player just dipped that wee bit in form and he wasn't keeping to the highest standard that he demanded, the player was gone, right? So whether that be a Goldson or a Tavernier or a Barisic that we're talking about tonight, if they players have just dipped that little bit, that can't keep the standard to a top standard, that plays for a team, that makes the team function properly, they go. I just don't think the manager's looking at that right. I think he's bolting slightly. bargain basement players. I think Lundstrom is a good acquisition with the experience he's got. Right, I think he's still got to go up a level or two, if that makes sense. But the manager should have had players that were ready to hit the ground running for that Tranmere game. No bringing in players maybe next week and the following week or players last week. I think the standard hasn't improved for last season. I think we've plateaued. You can only go back to the well so much with the players that we've got and ask them to do the exact same thing that we done last season. I think sometimes psychologically and physically it's impossible for players. Players will reach their level and that's their level. I think we needed bigger stature players in place at the start of this season because it's critical that we get 56. We have to build on last season. I think looking at the team at the moment, for me, the team's just static. If anything, it's went below what it should be. Before that makes sense.
Aye, no, you're right.
Just one other point. Why is he changing our number one goalkeeper week in, week out? McLaughlin's a number 2. McGregor's a number 1. That, for a start, does that not bring confidence in the defence? Because the defenders must be saying to themselves, well, why is McLaughlin and it's McGregor tonight, it's McLaughlin.
Well,
you know
was that no, sorry, but in boys, was that no, the way I looked at it was he was keeping McGregor for the Champions League game?
No, every game's important, I would think.
Oh, I obviously the game's important, but what I was saying was, I had a couple of hours in to watch the first game of the season against Leeds United and we were surprised that McLaughlin set it. I said to my mates, I says, well, is he not doing that because he's keeping McGregor for the Malmo game, which I agree with you, it's a wee bit strange.
But he's done that. He's done that for the start, lads. He always played he'd always drafted McGregor for cup games to give McLaughlin a run out, and that's what I was trying to say, Gary. There, if he could do that with our goalkeeper, who's mega experienced, why on earth can he not do that with other players? If it's against teams, let's be perfectly frank here. We're playing at Ibrox. If we can't go in a cup game at Ibrox and play against and beat Dunfermline with fringe players, and they shouldn't be fringe players because he keeps telling us they're squad players, that they're in our squad. So if they're in our squad, he shouldn't have any qualms about drafting certain players and playing the ones that's at the backup to them. And that's what Jimmy's saying. He doesn't. There's a good 4 and 5 and 6 sometimes where he will not draft them at all, i.e. Goldson and Tav. Goldson played every single minute of every game last season. Now fine, we were gone for the title. I get that. But surely to goodness he shouldn't have played in every cup game, even although we didn't get 4 in the cups. That's just balmy.
Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days. The weekend comes, my cycle hums, ready to race to you. These days are
Yeah, let's keep it happy, yeah. Let's say the boys have done as well, and let's say the modern night's going to be the start of next time. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's everything's gone, and the modern night we've got a new game to bring it all back again. Well,
that's all you hear. Last season's gone.
Aye, that's what I'm saying. Well, it is, and that's what we've got to move on for these 2 games on night.
Hopefully the management team aren't thinking about last season because it's gone. That last game of the season, that was it. It was gone. That's do you think he's got to bring in other players? Because I think a lot was dependent on that Champions League. It looks more like, just for what I'm reading, players will be leaving.
Well, it could depend, Big Al, on this Europa League run, and I'll come to Jimmy on this. Jimmy, you've been looking at our next.
I managed to get a feed today, and I saw probably about 2/3 of the game, and probably about 10 minutes of the extra time, and. This is not a bad team. Alashkert for Armenia, they won 3-2. Rangers are going to find it hard in the heat. It's 82 degrees it was there tonight in that game. But looking at the thing, I mean, just I'm not one to bore you on that, but I mean, they played a 4-1-2-3 system. They like to push on with their backs. The same idea as we do with Barisic and Tavernier. But I've got a couple of decent players. You know, the boy that scored 2 goals out of the big Portuguese striker, Mbalo, he's quite strong, decent player. I've got a Brazilian boy there. They just call him James, but he's got a big long name. Couple of things, you know, they've got a couple of big full backs, as I said, and they don't pull out of tackles. The right back is for Brazil. His name's Kameta. He's quite decent. The boy Didier in there as well, centre back. He's for Ivory Coast. Most of their team is made up of Armenians, a Serb, and the rest are all Brazilians in the Ivory Coast. The boy that came on as a sub, Glisic, and he scored extra time in the 104th minute. But all I can say, guys, is we took him right through every player. I wrote a lot of things down. I'll probably talk about that next week when we're on for the game. But this is a decent team, and the conditions, I think, obviously they're no suit Rangers. 82 degrees it was the other day, and they say that at some point it got to 85. So we've got our work cut out, and we can't rest on our laurels. On paper you should be saying that Rangers should be beating a team like this, and I would like to think we can. But they've got a creative midfielder called Hovenspine for Armenia, and he's not a bad player, by the way. He's quite tidy. They're what they would term as their main centre. But I wrote down here, he thinks he's Franz Beckenbauer. He's called Voskanian. But he's a bit flashy. He likes to flatter about with the ball. Reminds me a bit of what big, what do you call him? Used to the big Italian we had. Okay, his name's just Amaruso. Give me the ball and I'll try a 50-yard pass, but he's not got that in him. But just to sum up, guys, it's going to be a really hard game for us. There's no easy games new in Europe. Are they a better team than Malmo?
There's no easy games in Scotland, Jimmy.
No, I know. Don't even go there. Are they better than Malmo? I would say no, they're no. Right, but on their own ground, they're going to, as I say, the heat that's there, Gary, they're reasonably tidy, and they will give us a game. So there's a bit of debate about where their game's going to be next week, because if it's going to be home first or away, because I'm hearing stories that the Puddle Drinkers are playing at home next Thursday. I don't know if that's right. If they are, UEFA will say 2 clubs for the same city can't play in the same night. So I'll be sorted out with that in the next hour or so. Somebody can help me with that. But if that's so, I would rather see us go to Armenia for the first leg, only for the sake of that. When we come back the second leg, then we're playing the Puddle Drinkers, and it gives us another day and a half's rest. We'll soon see what happens with that because of the heat. So I think we're in for a tough game, guys. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they were playing to try and play Rangers or Malmo, obviously, but they knew they were going to be playing us. So it will be a difficult game, I think, for us guys in the heat. They're a reasonable team, decent team. The Bulgies a hard game. They're physical.
I'll take that to Bridge. I mean, we're talking about this team we're going to be taking on in the Europa League, but the Europa League's a competition that Rangers have enjoyed, and it's when we've seen some of their best football. So could this be another wee confidence booster next week that we get these couple of wins underneath our belt?
Well, it's we quite enjoyed the victories we had and some of the great performances, particularly away from home. And based on what Jimmy's saying, it's going to be red hot. So let's hope that they're ready for it and they're able to hold their own over there. Because the last thing we need is going over there and failing because of the heat. But fortunately, in the European game, certainly, you see the players when it's warm, they're getting these wee 1 minute breaks for 3, I think 3 in the game for water. So they're able to take in fluids. But seriously, if it's going to be as hot as what Jimmy's saying, God only knows what's going to happen. But it's a Europa League, and Rangers were up to this season. Rangers have been well experienced, and they've done very well in the European area. So I don't see why that shouldn't continue. I just thought that we didn't look what I would classify quality-wise on the pitch. They didn't look like a European team. I know we were champions of the league and we deserved to be there, but quality on the pitch and the way we played didn't make them a Champions League team, apart from Morelos, who would probably walk into any team in Europe at the moment, the way he's playing. So let's hope we get there next week. And as Jimmy says, if it's going to be as warm as that, we need to watch what we're doing.
Ulster, you see this as another wee avenue to build the confidence?
Yeah, hopefully so. JFK was there. I have a feeling. I think it's confirmed that we're playing the away game, the second leg, unfortunately, which is a wee bit isn't great scenario going into the Old Firm game. But I'm nearly 100% sure that's the way that is. Hopefully, we can get the job done at Ibrox and sort of get it finished. But as I say, I don't really know much about this team, but I do know obviously that they were playing a team from Kazakhstan tonight and they took them the extra time. So I don't know how good the standard is. JFK's watched them. He says they're pretty decent, but hopefully we can do the job and we can get ourselves back into the Europa League again and have a good one this season.
Blue Star, how are you feeling about it? You there, Blue Star? I'll go to Mal. Mal, you there, mate? How do you think? It's got to be a good confidence booster to help kickstart our season. Big Al, I'll come at you, mate.
I only think they put a good game on because they knew Big Jimmy was watching them.
I heard me swearing at the telly and all.
Right. Name another famous Armenian Jimmy. Here's a trivia for you.
Armenian? Shot Avaladze? No.
A famous one.
That's one.
Famous world star Armenian.
A world Armenian star.
Right.
No, on you go.
Yeah.
The Kardashians.
Ow, is it a confidence booster?
Well, you shouldn't be looking for confidence. Come on, guys.
Well, everybody's on their back, so they're working on it.
I know what you're saying, mate. Look, it's a game that we should be going into with 100% confidence. It's a competition that we've been successful in. We've not had any fears playing against any big teams in it. So yes, as a confidence thing, it may take us further in that tournament. I don't know how much that affects us with league confidence, which is the most important thing. I don't know if the Dunfermline game is a game that can give you confidence then to follow into the league. I think only league confidence comes playing the league game. So, it'll give us confidence for that tournament, I think. I don't know if it changes the situation at home, though, in regards to our league form.
Bridge, the game tomorrow night, could that maybe Sorry, Bridge. Bridge, could that give us some confidence for the Dunfermline game tomorrow?
What give us confidence?
So, like, say, if we're bringing in different players, could that give the whole team a boost, a lift?
It'll give the squad a lift. Absolutely. The big problem is we've got to be realistic as well. I would love them to put in some of the youngsters tomorrow night and some of the more experienced that aren't even getting the games, the Ittons and the Roofs. I'd love them to get a shot. But the manager's got to weigh it up because it could be suicidal to pick a ranked team, couldn't it? It could easily fall down. We don't want to be doing that. I think whatever team we put out tomorrow night, no matter what it is, as long as it gets into their head, and one of the boys said it earlier, we should have no fears playing Dunfermline in any pitch, anywhere in this country. We should have no problems whatsoever with them at any time. We should be telling ourselves, this team we're just when they're just cattle fodder to us. We're just going to run out of attack with them, score 10 goals, whatever it is they want to say to each other to boost each other up and get in there and do it. Just do it. Get a couple of goals in and see how you go on. Seriously, we shouldn't have any problem with Dunfermline, no matter what team we play.
Al, we've not heard your team for the morning, mate. You want to give us it?
Oh, I've no I've not even thought about it. And
is there anybody special that you want to see in that team?
Aye, Lionel Messi.
I wish.
We missed that trick there, boys, did we not?
Well, we like our free transfers.
As I say, I've said for the start of the season, I love to see Patterson and young Kelly in the team. I don't want these guys falling out of the team. I think they've proved to me anyway, and I think what you get with the young guys, you get a bit more desire with them. I'd like to see Kelly playing alongside Davis. You couldn't progress that guy any better than playing him alongside Davis. Patterson, I've never been a great fan of Tavernier, and I don't want to go doing all that. I think everybody knows my feelings on him. I'd like to see Patterson playing. I think he's proved himself enough now. Yeah. I'd like to see him play. So I'd like to see they two in the team. I'd really like to see the two young boys in the team.
Jimmy, is it time for maybe the likes of Patterson and Kelly to grab a shot and keep a shot?
Well, aye, because there's no use bringing them in, as I said earlier on, Gary, and friendlies and that, and they sparkle. And then you just put them back onto the bench again, you know. I mean, the old saying is, if you're good enough, you're old enough. And if they're showing something that we all want to see, then we'll give them a chance. You know, they'll never learn just playing friendlies. You know, so put them in a game. I mean, against Dunfermline's a perfect chance for them. Go in and play. It's a competitive game. It's a League Cup game. Go in, give them a chance. They fawn their sword, and then they can turn and say, well, I gave you a chance, you never took it. But he's not, for whatever reason, not giving them a chance, Gary. Give them the chance and let's see what they can do. And then we can all judge on it. But we've not got a chance to judge on it. We're only judging on what we've seen in friendlies. So if they've not got the ball to compete in a game that means something, then they're not used to Rangers. But they need to get that chance first, mate. And I don't think they've been given that chance.
Ulster, what were you, mate? No, Ulster's away.
Sorry, there. I done a bridge man there. Apologies.
Sorry, mate, you go.
No, yeah, JFK's correct. I agree with him there. I think that we've seen enough from Patterson, especially last season as well. When he came into games when Tavernier was injured, that the guy can, you know, he's a cracking young player and he's going to be a great player as he develops. But I think he's more than ready to step in there, you know. And as I say, if you're going to play these players, I've been saying it all night anyway. But you know, if you're going to play them and they play well, you have to keep them in the team. But we'll wait and see how they get on tomorrow night. But as you were saying earlier about, is it a confidence booster? I don't think it's maybe not as much confidence, but it will give the team a wee bit of a breather with the fans, so, you know, who aren't too happy with them at the minute. So if they can get the victory tomorrow, give them a wee bit of leeway.
Well said. Well, our first team might be having the defeats, but our B team are actually winning. So we're going to hear an interview from them after a 3-2 win.
I think you summed it up there. Exciting. If you look at the performance going 3-0 up against a quality side in Dumbarton, who got a lot of experienced players, a lot of quality in their team as well. So I think we knew that coming into the game. And if you look at the performance in terms of that part was really, really pleasing. And to go and score 3 goals to take it to that point, and then the game obviously takes a swing at the last second. So I'll go back to it. Really exciting game.
Did you see anything from the boys' performance, what they've learned in the Lowland League in tonight's game?
Yeah, that's something that's just going to continue. I think we knew in terms of the step in opposition that it would be more challenging. In terms of the tempo of the game, they played at a good speed as well at times. So all these little things, and I think the lads are well aware of that. When you go and play against quality opposition like Dumbarton, who gave us a tough time as well. It wasn't all their own way. They had periods in the game where they tried to play through us and cut us open and created some chances as well. So yeah, certainly some learning in that.
You touched upon it there. It was a tough challenge tonight against some experienced SPFL players. What are some of the key learning points the boys can take away from tonight, especially in the latter stages of the second half?
I think you look at, like we touched on there, playing against level opposition that it is. There's a lot of experience and players that have racked up a lot of numbers in terms of games. So that comes with the territory where you're going and playing against those types of players. But also, if you look at the team tonight, that's playing against others. But in the team tonight, with Nico and Jake lending that experience to the younger players that has been there as well. So I think that's at times it's a terrific addition to what it can be. Even seeing the lads in the dressing room and having that discussion, and they can learn off of the senior players as well. So that was terrific to see.
And a home tie against Ayr United in the next round of the Challenge Cup, that must be an exciting fixture that you're all looking forward to.
Yeah, it's an exciting one. When it swings around, we'll prepare for that properly. It's another test. It will be another test, and that's the reason that this competition is so good for us as a squad and as a team, and for the individual player, that you can go and test yourself against it. And like we say, a championship club in Ayr United will be a tough test, but we've got a few games before that we'll knuckle back down, and we'll prepare for those games, and then when that one swings around, we'll be excited and ready to go and as far as we can in that competition.
Brilliant, cheers for that, Fox. Bridgman, the B team have been doing well for us this season, haven't they?
Absolutely brilliant. It's lovely to hear, and it's an avenue that the club, shall we say, is using well, and it's marvellous. It's just great. You hear these lovely stories about players doing this and goals for this, and it's just great. It's just great, and all this good news should be filtering through in some way or into the first team squad. This is what they're doing, the B team. You know what I mean? Compare them and give them a wee bit of a wakey call. That's what they should be doing. Might not be doing that, of course, but no, well done. Congratulations to them.
Jimmy?
I managed to see the goals on one of the channels. The boy Lowry scored a nice goal, wasn't he?
Aye,
so boys are doing well. No, doing better than the first team they know. So that's what it's all about. And boys like Kelly and that come through, and obviously big. I seen Big Patterson about 4 years ago playing for the B team when we had a decent run in the youth Europa League, and there was a standout then. So Nathan Coombs and them, they were on the team at that time. So it's good to see the boys that playing as well as Ayr United in the next round of the cup. That'll be a good game, mate. That will be a good game. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Big Al, you're a shout for the youth. You like seeing them come through. Do you think this is going to be a good setup for us?
I don't. Yeah. Look, is there a progression for that B team into the first team? Don't know. I take it that was Jake, when you said Jake, that was that Jake Hasty. He's playing for them now. That was a first team player that we signed. Kind of got a game for the first team.
Remember, this is our first season, also getting a chance to progress these boys in this kind of league. So,
I know.
Let's stay a wee bit more positive.
Aye. Oh, look, I've watched a couple of the games, but I didn't see the pathway for the players into the first team. I didn't see any players in that we could take into the first team.
Ulster, mate. I think you're on mute. Ulster, are you still there?
Sorry, I done a Bridgman again. That's twice tonight. As say a wee bit like Alder, it's hard to see them sort of pushing in, but it's their first season and they're playing at a decent enough level, I suppose, for their age group. But I would say it'll probably be 2 or 3 seasons down the line. We'll see how many of these young guys that's in the team now they can sort of break through. But it's a problem that we've had at Ibrox for a long, long time. We don't really bring through that many. But hopefully that starts to change as they're playing at a better level, and we'll start seeing some of these young talent coming into the team. But it'll be a couple of years away yet, I would say, at least.
Bridge, do you think with Jermaine Defoe obviously becoming a coach for us in the striking department, that we actually might start seeing hopefully another Alan McCoy's coming through at some point?
Well, that'd be lovely, wouldn't it? Get somebody as cool and as good as Alan McCoy, would be fantastic. And I don't know whether there is anyone on the horizon at the moment that Defoe could get something out of. But I don't follow the youth that closely. It would be interesting to see if we've really got someone who could put the ball in the net with regularity because that would be really good. That's what you want. I don't really know very many of them, I have to say. But Defoe, I don't know whether Defoe is actually taking up his full-time coaching this season, or is that for next season? I'm not 100% sure.
I think it is part. He's like a part-time because his first protocol as a player, as the Gerrard keeps saying. Jimmy, what do you think?
Gary, can I just come in and get a wee bit of news there? It looks like the Rangers game is going to go ahead on the Thursday night at Ibrox. The Celtic game looks as if it's going to be shifted back to the Wednesday because there's no Champions League football in Scotland that night because we play Ross County on the Sunday and the Puddle Drinkers play St Mirren on the Saturday. So their game would be pushed back to the Wednesday to give them, so they couldn't play Thursday, Saturday, but we could play Thursday, Sunday because we play Ross County.
So that means we're away for the second game then?
We will be. It looks like the reports that came out is that Rangers will play as normal on the Thursday night against Alskert, and Celtic's game looks as if it's going to be pulled back to the Wednesday night because they play St Mirren on the Saturday. We play Ross County on the Sunday. So we will definitely be. It looks like it so far. I don't see it being anything other than that, mate.
Sounds quite cool, that, isn't it? Really, it's both of them at the same bit, the same length of time after the game. So there's no real complaints. I don't think.
No, we wouldn't. No, we wouldn't. The second game we'd be doing a 5,500 mile trip to play them. I was hoping that they would switch the ties, but the reports are coming out that Celtic's game against AZ Alkmaar will be brought back to the Wednesday night because there's no Champions League football in Scotland, and Rangers will play as normal at home on the Thursday as well.
Right, so the two teams are at home in the same week.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So they'll be away in the same week as well, following week.
Aye, they're only going to Hingway though, aren't they?
Yeah.
Aye, so you get right.
Said it was AZ Alkmaar.
Aye. There's a big difference between Holland and... Anyway.
Right,
okay.
score.
Right, okay.
I'll go down these all. Score predictions for tomorrow. Bridge, you start first, mate.
Oh, I'm going for 4-0.
Okay. Ulster?
I'm hoping we'll see a bounce back, so yeah, I'll go for 4-0 with the Bridge, man.
Big Al?
Patterson and Kelly, a brace each. That's all I'll say.
Jimmy?
I'm going for a handful, mate. 5.
Jimmy, I'm exactly the same as you. I'm expecting 5-0 tomorrow night. I think Roof will be on and he'll be hungry for goals. Definitely. What it says, lads, I think overall for this game tomorrow night, this should clear away the cobwebs a wee bit for the team. And I think if there's a good performance put on in that crowd, like the other night they're bouncing, then we'll start to see the team that we all love and know. That says that last season it just wasn't a fluke. There's a team in there, and I think just like it says, this is our first time back in the Champions League in a long time. And I think what it says it's just another learning curve, and it's another learning curve for our manager and the management team as well. So what it says, onwards and upwards. Tomorrow night, what it says, we'll go out there and we show how we really play. And if the youth gets a wee chance as well, it might give them a wee chance to stake a claim in our team going forward. I just want to thank you all for joining us. Big Al, thanks for phoning in, mate. Ulster, Blue Star, Mal, first time caller as well. Robert, phoning for his hospital bed. You just keep getting yourself nice and fit, buddy. Jimmy, thanks for joining us tonight. And over to you, Bridge. Oh, sorry. I want to thank the technicals behind the scenes, the man that's been keeping us going. Fox, thank you very much for tonight, buddy. And I'll pass you over to Bridge.
What can I say? Listen, again, to everybody, fantastic night, marvellous night, great discussions, sensible discussions, no fighting, marvellous. Really loved it. What can I just say to all the Rangers fans all over the world, every one of them, and particularly Rangers fans on here on Rangers Radio, tomorrow night, massive game. Massive game. Turning out to be biggest game of the season. Biggest game of the season so far. Everybody, keep it going for the Rangers. I'll be there. Everybody's going there, keep shouting for the Rangers, and let's get into this mob. I hate them.
This has been Rangers Radio. Thanks for joining us. There will be a show tomorrow night, and it'll be JFK and Allbear will be on. So look forward to that one with the Friday feeling at 6:45. Over to you, Fox.